All right, so anyway, I've got the radio tower deep dive, and we're going to just basically go through some of the basic types of towers, and then I want to ask each of you what kind of tower you have and what good and bad things you found about it. Because again, I have a few here that I've put up, mostly junk that someone gave me, which I actually do a lot of good stuff with junk that people give me. But anyway, a lot of different things. Joseph is working with a pole right now that he's just put guy wires on, I think.
Yeah, I've got a 30-foot push-up pole, and it's actually a pretty standard pole. You can get them from a lot of different places, but it costs like $150, I think. So it wasn't that expensive, but it's 10-foot sections, and then it expands up to 30 feet, and you have a little screw that you tighten with a wrench I have this little, I don't know what this thing is, but I found this in some parts we had. It has a hole in it, and I use it like a little wrench to torque it nice and tight. So you do that, you get it up in the air. The only problems that I would say I have with it is the lack of like any kind of rigidity when it comes to wind. So you do have to have guy wires. Also, if you have like a small antenna at the top, you don't necessarily need guy wires for most of the wind. It's only once you start getting heavier things up there that catch the wind more. That pole, even though the tubes are made out of like solid steel or something, that thing will bend. And I had it up during a snowstorm that happened a few months ago, and I was worried that it was going to come down. I mean, it was pretty, I had it strapped to the fence post pretty well, but it was bending in the wind quite a lot. So that's the main problem with push-up poles, is that they're just not that rigid, and they kind of sway in the wind a lot. But once you get a pair of guy wires, there's a little ring around each section. So there's 3 rings that have holes in them. And then you just get a swaging tool and the little metal crimps. I don't know what you call them, but the little crimps you put on there. And I've been able to set up guy wires just using some, I don't know, it's like threaded or stranded metal guy wire. And I just use that one at the top, and that just connects to various points on our property here. And you can anchor it to the side of a house or wherever you want to put it, really. And so overall, it's a pretty cheap solution, and it works pretty well for all my stuff. So that's what I have, I guess.
All right, well, there you go. Let's go to the, I just go real quick over here to the slides. I just have a few, but I just wanted to go through the basics. I learned a little bit myself today when I was putting this together. There's 4 basic types of structures that we normally would put things on. You've got, as we just talked about, the guide mast. And truthfully, the guide mast is probably the easiest thing to put up because it takes the least amount of specialized equipment. You've got a lattice tower or a freestander, and of course you see those around. There's one of those sitting over by the old building at the EOC, and there's a lot of cell phone towers that look like that. And then you got the monopole towers, which those are now, because I don't know if you know it or not, the monopole towers are more expensive to put up than the lattice towers. I thought that was some very interesting thing that I found today. I couldn't believe that when I saw it. I'm like, wow. But anyway, but those monopole towers, apparently they're holding up better in the wind and things like that. But also, I think towns are a little more likely to approve them to be put in different places because they're a little less intrusive, supposedly. And then, of course, you got building mounted. And with amateur radio, building mounting is the way to go because we a lot of times can't afford lease space on a structure. That gets expensive. And a lot of times we can get into a building somewhere sometimes and get in a lot cheaper. But those are basically the 4 types of structures that we have to deal with. And of course, we're going to be talking about ones for our house. So what I've done here is I've gone through and I found some really cool antenna ideas out there that people have used. Now, going from left to right, that is a really neat system there. I don't know if that's something that somebody bought or built, but that's basically a crank up system where he has a cable that'll crank it up. And then of course it goes into that receiver and locks into place. That's a really neat system there. The one in the middle is a swing up, very similar to what Rick has. Yeah. Rick's hex is up on something very similar to that right now.
Yeah.
And yours works great, Rick. I know I helped you put it up.
Yep. So easy
Um,
to put up, should be easy to bring down.
yep. Now I will tell you, with that big old hex on there, it took three of us to get it up, and it took everything three of us had to get it up.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, I could. There's a dirty joke there, but I won't say it anyway. Uh, see, I do have self control. You guys, the rumors were wrong. All right. The next one over, that's kind of how I do things, all nice and permanent like. But of course, the problem with that is once you put it up, you're climbing every time you're fixing something or changing something out, and you lose the ability to turn that thing over onto its side and everything. The two at the bottom and the one on the right are all basically the same kind of design. Those are actually, I'm sorry, the one on the lower left and the one on the far right are both telescoping. Those actually, there's a handle you twist or a motor you turn on, and it actually pushes that thing up. You can see it folds down into itself, just like the old CB antennas in the 70s that we had on our little portables that you would pull up, the antenna. It's basically the same thing there. The one there in the middle bottom, that's an interesting situation. That's a rotator tower. The entire tower rotates. If you notice, the cables go into a ring, not
Oh,
not into the tower. The entire tower, and the guy wires have to clear the Yagis all the way around. So there's a lot of planning that has to go into one of these.
wow.
But that entire tower sits on a single point at the bottom, and it has a rotating motor on it, and it rotates
Yep.
Man,
the
that must be
entire tower.
that must be a pretty big rotator they got down there.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. But yeah, that's
I'll
something
take
pretty
2.
cool. And then of course, this looks like more like something I'd probably have. Uh,
What is that?
that's that on the left. There's my dream shack. Uh, I mean, look
It's
at
like they
that.
just they just took a helicopter and just went bloop and dropped it on top of a house.
I don't know. I can only imagine there has to be poles in there holding the roof up or something. But
That's
Yeah.
what you
anyway,
would find on top of a mountain someplace, just like the one
yeah.
in the middle.
Truth is, it probably goes down to the ground inside the house, I would assume. But that almost looks like a house built around a tower, not a tower put on top of a house. But anyway, who knows? They did that with lighthouses. Why not radio towers?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and the middle one there, that's the guy that loves VHF right there. Boy, he is a VHF guy.
Well, now
I got
here's what I don't get about the VHF guy. Those antennas all look like they're the same. So unless he's monitoring,
I know. I don't know what he's doing there.
he's got like
I don't.
5
VHF outhouse.
he's got like 5 Ringo Rangers up there or something. Why no directional? Looks
I
like
mean,
he's on a mountain. Because
I think you're right, Rick. This is the guy that takes a dump with 19 radios.
Oh,
But
maybe the
anyway.
whole shack rotates.
There you go. That's what it is. The whole shack rotates. I love it. And then of course that last guy there doing something that, I used to do the high angle rescue team stuff. I rappelled off the civic center and things like that. And we used to do stuff. And now I'm 51 years old, and if I walk up to a 3rd-story banister fast enough, I'll get sick. So I could only imagine that I won't be doing any of that kind of stuff.
That's
But
a bat wing antenna used for VHF TV broadcasting.
yep, and I can only imagine. God, he looks like he's about 5,000 feet in the air, but I don't think he's probably about 1,000 feet up. That's usually about how high they are.
Man, you got to be really patient and have good arms to climb all that way up there.
Well, that's 999 feet that I'm not going up.
Yeah. Most of these towers have either a cable lift system or a box lift system or whatever.
Some of them have an elevator.
Yeah, like it's like a box that you kind of get in. It's not a complete elevator type thing, but it's like a platform elevator that goes up and down. I watched there's a neat video of that they did of when they put up the NBC2 tower. And it was a real good video. I don't know if it's still up. I think it is. Oh, that's hilarious. Let me show you guys that. Did you see this? They put this guy's mural up on the side of the water tower. And then so somebody decides, hey, you know what would be funny? it'd be funny if we shot a hole right where the pea would come out.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, the Johnny Cash thing. Yeah, I saw it.
Is this hilarious or what? I mean, you can't write this stuff, dude.
Making a whiz, man. That's
You
big.
can't write this stuff. I mean, come on. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, so that was that. But yeah, I'm looking, the NBC2 tower video is really good, but I don't actually see it up here. I figured it would still be up.
Gosh, it's not still there. There were several videos online of building big towers. I mean, the WEAU tower up in Wisconsin is 2,000 feet, and they got video on that. That's an enormous tower, TV tower.
That's weird that it's not coming up. I would have liked to play that for you.
And there's also some videos on there of the helicopters lifting the antennas onto the top of the tower.
That's the one
Yeah.
that's actually the one I'm looking for. And if this isn't it, I'm going to just move on. But I think this might be it here.
There's one for a station in Fort Pierce too, I think. There's several of those.
Nope, that's not it either. So, okay. Well, anyway, we got to see the peeing tower. That's good enough, I guess. We'll just have to call it done with that. Okay.
The big whiz.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, there you go. So that's what we got. What I want to do now is I'll start with mine and I'll tell you guys what I have and what I found works for me, as far as towers go. And then we'll kind of move on to each person, because we each have a different kind of tower that we're using. And that includes if you're putting them in your attic or on your roof or hanging them from a tree in your yard. Tell us what you're using. We're not necessarily talking about the antennas tonight. We're talking about the towers or the method you're using to raise it above the ground. So that, let us know what you're doing. Basically what I did was, I was over at the swap shop and the guys had all these tower sections laying there they were getting rid of. They couldn't take them down, so they cut them up. They cut them in like, I think they cut it in 3 pieces. And I ended up getting these towers and making 3 towers out of it. I've got, 2 right now. One of them is about 20 feet up here. And then I got a big 10-foot PVC pole that comes out of the top of that. And then I got a Ringo Ranger on top of that with a Yagi right below it, that I use to get the Charlotte County stuff. And then I have another, the top part of that same tower is buried 2 feet in the ground out by my front gate. And I've got 2 cameras, a light, and another Ringo Ranger on that one. And it's at about 22 feet at the deck. And then I got an 8-foot pole and the Ringo's on top of that. So it's at 30 feet too. So that's what I've got. And those I don't have to use guy wires on because both of them, the one in the back here is connected to the building, got a big bracket around it. And the one in the front's buried 2 feet down in the ground. And, there's nothing, even if a hurricane came, it's just going to bend it over about halfway. And that's
How did you get it in the ground? Is it like set in concrete or a hole dug, or how'd you
Nope,
get it?
I just dug a hole.
And then
Yeah,
filled
it's about 2.5 feet actually. It's more than 2 feet. It's about 2.5 feet in the ground. I use post hole diggers, and I dug down and got down there and in the water and stuck the tower down in there and just filled it back up and packed it tight. And I figured, let me see how that goes for a while. It's only, it's not that high. And so let me try that. So I did, I put all the stuff on it and everything. It's fine. It's perfect. It doesn't need anything else. So if I concrete it in, I can't take it down. Right now, I could, in about 20 minutes, my son-in-law could dig that thing out and I could lay it over and work on it. So that's because I'm not going up any higher than that. I'm probably not going to concrete it in. So,
okay.
And then my main tower is a 20-foot oil derrick. It's a freestander. I bought it off of Lambie up there in Charlotte County. And Tom Lambie, he's a great guy. I bought it off of him, gave me a great price on it. And it sits on 4 bricks. And then I've got it guyed off because I don't have it. If I had the bottom anchored properly, I wouldn't need guy wires on it. But I got guy ropes on it because I don't have it anchored properly. So that's what's wrong with that one. Anyway, that's where I'm at right now. So I got 3 towers. So let's go on. Rick, let's go to you. I know you got a lean over tower. Tell us about your different systems you're using.
Yeah, okay. Let me share my screen and then I can describe it for you.
Share away.
Too bad that I didn't take a picture of the bottom of it. I'll have to do that. This is my hex beam, which is on a Penninger radio tipper. This thing wasn't cheap, but I was determined to put up something that was stout. The wall diameter, this is 2-inch diameter aluminum pole. This stuff is stout. It's
I was
the outer
surprised
wall
how thick it was, actually. It's very thick walled.
is very thick walled. It's a lot thicker than Schedule 40, which a lot of people say they put the things up on. Well, I wasn't satisfied with that. With the rotor going on top and everything, I wanted this thing with it. I'm originally from Florida, so I know the weather can get rather rambunctious down here. In addition to the fact that I wanted something that I could get down in the event there's a hurricane, and so there's a pulley on there. I can let go of those guy wires and bring that thing down if I loosen the bottom. It's a Penninger radio tipper. It's the biggest one they got. And I went ahead and put it, like I said, the outside walls of the bottom pole is, what did we say, 3/8 inches. And then the top pole is a 1/4 inch thick. So like I said, that's not something you could pick up at your local Home Depot or anything. And anyway, but the thing will come down, and of course, Ian can attest to the fact that it's a tipper type thing. Like I said, too bad I didn't get the picture of the bottom. I've got some pictures around here. I just don't have them handy.
Well, yeah, and I'm gonna snatch the screen back from you.
Right.
I think I found one. This is their website here.
Yeah,
Penninger Radio.
yeah,
I've actually never been to their website, so this is cool.
yeah,
But it's a system basically like this one, I believe.
yeah. It's
Well, that's a hitch mount tipper. That's actually for a reese
Yeah.
receiver.
You want to go down into tipper mass. It's the roll it down a little bit. That's the hitch mount.
I must be on the wrong page.
No,
Let's see
you're
here.
on the right page. Go down where it says ham military commercial. Yeah, go to the ham military commercial. You saw it there. All right, hang over to the right. Go to tipper masts. Oh, come on. It's got to be in there somewhere. It's got to be in there. Of
Yeah,
course,
they may
we're
be
trying
out
to
of
show
them.
it and can't find it.
Well,
It's
they may
beyond-
be out of them, Rick. A lot of places are out of everything right now.
Yeah, roll it down. There's a multiple bunch of pages you can see.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on.
Yeah, it's just the next one. It's gonna be in there. Bring it on down some more. Try the next one. There you go. Roll
Yeah,
it on down. Yeah. Roll
That's
it
kind of
down.
like what you have there.
Yeah. That heavy duty one, TJHD 250. Right on the right. That's the guy. Bring
Yeah,
this
and
in.
I had a chance to use this, and it was pretty nice. I mean, he's got it mounted instead of to a wall. He's got it mounted to a large piece of wood. Like, was it
6
a
by
6 by 6?
Okay, the 6x6 is 8 feet long. 4 feet of it is buried in the ground. So that's pretty stout. This is nothing. They recommended a winch. Well, I don't have a winch, but
No, but we got it up there barely. I
Got
tell
the
you,
thing up
if that hex beam was 5 pounds heavier, we wouldn't have got it up that day.
yeah, I've actually got another section I could have put it on there. I got it up a little higher, and I decided against putting it on there because for that very reason. I knew it would be
You'd have needed 2 more neighbors.
Yeah, we'd have needed 2 more neighbors and one of those tanks from the war to get the
Yeah.
thing up. Not one of those destroyed Russian tanks either. But anyhow, we got the thing up there.
Yeah, you know how you can tell it's a Russian tank? It's out of gas.